Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you work, money still comes and goes like a passing breeze? Maybe you've saved diligently, worked tirelessly, calculated every expense, but by the end of the month you still fall short. Still feel like everything you've poured your effort into just slips away like water through your hands. It's not necessarily because you did something wrong. It might be something very small, something right inside your own home. More specifically, where you place your money. Sounds strange, doesn't it? But it's true. In Western astrology, money reflects the energy of Venus, the planet that rules self-worth, pleasure, and the ability to receive. At the same time, the second house in your natal chart reveals how you hold on to possessions, while the eighth house unveils how you relate to loss, control, and financial fear, even if it's unspoken. When you keep money in energetically wrong places, like a torn wallet, a broken box, or under your mattress, you're sending out a very clear signal to the universe. I don't truly value prosperity. And when the signal is misaligned, the flow of money follows suit. In this video, you'll uncover 7 places that seem harmless, but silently repel wealth from your life. Along with that, you'll learn 3 simple yet powerful ways to adjust your financial vibration in alignment with your unique astrological blueprint. And it all begins inside your home, the space that could be the very root of your ongoing financial struggles. So now, if you're ready to reevaluate your relationship with money, let's begin with the first place, one that almost all of us have gotten wrong at some point. It may seem minor, but it's enough to subtly reroute your entire financial flow. The very first place where you should never store your money is in messy, cluttered drawers. It may sound harmless, even convenient, but energetically, this is one of the worst mistakes you can make inside your home. Because clutter isn't just about scattered objects, it's a direct reflection of a restless, unfocused mind. In astrology, this corresponds to a misaligned Venus, when your sense of personal value gets tangled up in disorder and lack of clarity. Especially if you're an air sign like Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, you're more likely to fall into this habit. Because while you're flexible and quick-thinking, you can also be too relaxed with details. And the price you pay is that money slips away from you without you even noticing. For air signs like Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, the second house, the house of personal possessions, often operates through thoughts and communication. You may be highly creative and agile, but you can easily end up thinking fast but holding shallow. A cluttered drawer isn't just random stuff tossed around. It's a sign that you haven't built a proper foundation for material value to anchor into your life. That's why for air signs, organizing your money space is a crucial first step to realigning your financial frequency. You might not even notice it, but think back. How many times have you tossed a few bills into a drawer filled with old receipts, crumpled papers, dead pens, and unused keys? And then weeks go by and you forget it's even there. That right there is how you subconsciously send out the message, I don't really know what I'm doing with my money. The universe always responds to the exact frequency you broadcast. When you let money live in chaos, the universe hears it and responds with scarcity, surprise expenses, and that vague, constant feeling of never having quite enough. Money, at its core, is a subtle energy stream. It needs care. It needs clarity. It needs direction. So start small. Pick one drawer. Clear it out. Let go of what's old and no longer needed. And if you still want to store money there, wrap it in a beautiful envelope, a neat little box, or even a clean sheet of paper. That seemingly simple act becomes your first clear declaration to the universe. I honor what I have. The second place where you should absolutely not store money is in damaged items. A torn wallet, a cracked box, a chipped jar, or an old handbag you no longer use. You might be holding on to it because you think it's still usable, or simply because you haven't gotten around to throwing it away. But energetically, that choice sends a very wrong message. In astrology, this is a sign of a wounded Venus, when the energy of self-worth leaks out through things that are worn, outdated, or no longer able to hold support. Money is living energy, and when you place it in a torn wallet or a broken jar, you're sending out a message. Money isn't important enough for me to care for it, and the universe doesn't listen to your words. The universe listens to the frequency you emit. When money is kept in something that has lost its wholeness, it absorbs exactly that frequency: impermanence, neglect, and a lack of love. And so your financial flow slows down, tightens, and falls into an invisible state of stagnation. If you're a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, you're especially prone to this mistake because you live through your emotions. You keep old things because they remind you of someone, of a memory, of a time that once mattered. But remember, money flows in the present. If you lock it into the past, it won't have the space to grow. Many people store money in an old wallet given by a loved one, or in a box that once held sentimental value. But they no longer use it. It just sits there, deep in a cabinet, gathering dust, forgotten. That's when you unconsciously anchor money, the symbol of vitality, to a memory that no longer lives. And in that context, money becomes something buried rather than something in circulation. The solution doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need to buy an expensive container. Just choose something new, clean, and whole, and place your money there with awareness. It could be a new wallet, a wooden box you love, or simply a fresh envelope, uncreased, untorn, and intentional. When you change the way you hold your money, you're not just shifting behavior. You're rebuilding the relationship between yourself and your personal value. Venus within you begins to shine again when you send out the message, "I am worthy of wholeness." And when you do that with love, the universe will understand. You are ready to receive more. You already know that money can't thrive in chaos, nor can it stay when it's being taken for granted. But there's one more place, one that many people believe is the safest to keep money, that actually holds back your financial flow more than you realize. It's the place that touches your body every single day and also absorbs your deepest anxieties and heaviness. And that place is under the mattress. Storing money under the mattress is an old habit. It stems from a protective mindset passed down from our grandparents, times when banks weren't common, trust was scarce, and assets needed to be hidden just in case. But in today's energetic age, this is one of the worst places for money to exist, vibrationally speaking. Because a mattress isn't just a place to rest. It's where your body lets go after a long, tiring day. It's where you cry in silence, overthink, toss and turn, or lie awake at night. Every frequency of emotion gets imprinted there. And if money is stored under it, it will absorb all of that unease, heaviness, and even the remnants of dreams you don't remember. Astrologically, this falls under the domain of the 8th house, the area that holds financial fear, loss, symbolic death, and emotional wounds yet to be healed. And if you're an earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, you're especially prone to this pattern because you crave security. You want to keep money close, hidden, safe. But that overprotection becomes an energetic cage. Putting money under your mattress is essentially burying your abundance in the dark. There's no light, no circulation, no presence. Money needs space to breathe, to live, to expand. But under the weight of your body, your stress, and your subconscious defense mechanisms, it begins to shrink, go silent, and eventually disappear. There's more. Money stored under the mattress is often forgotten. You don't see it, you don't touch it, you don't interact with it. And to the universe, that's a clear message. I'm not truly connected to my money, and what you're not connected to can never grow. If your Venus or second house is affected by hard aspects, such as a square from Saturn or Pluto, you need to be extra mindful. because you may carry deeply ingrained patterns around fear, scarcity, and financial self-protection. And when you keep placing money in dark, closed spaces, you reinforce those very patterns. So, reset. No elaborate rituals are needed. Just one mindful act. Gently take that money out. Wipe it clean. Thank it. And place it somewhere with light, a pleasant scent, a sense of care. Not to show it off, but to connect, to nurture a new financial flow, one that is clearer, steadier, and freer. Because money, just like you, doesn't need to hide to feel safe. It needs to be present, to be seen, and to be loved, with full trust. After letting go of old habits like hiding money under the mattress, you might think you're in a better place. But there's another kind of stagnant energy, one that doesn't come from hiding, but from forgetting. No one intentionally lets money wither, but many of us unintentionally leave it in a place that no longer belongs to the present. Old wallets, broken handbags, or neglected items left behind in the closet. You might have an old bag, once beloved, once carried daily, that now sits deep in a drawer. Or a worn-out wallet with peeling edges, a broken zipper, no longer in use, but still kept. Inside, there might be a few bills, some coins, an expired card, or a crumpled receipt. You don't even notice. But energetically, that's a dead space where money is no longer being cared for, no longer being seen. Astrology calls this the frozen zone of Venus energy, when value no longer moves, no longer lives in flow. Old, broken, unused items that are still held onto become energetic traps. And money, when placed in such spaces, absorbs that stagnation, that neglect, that unconscious rejection. Over time, your financial flow will mirror that reality, slowing down, losing direction, drying up. If you're a water or earth sign, Cancer, Pisces, Virgo, Capricorn, you're especially prone to this kind of keeping. Because you live tied to memories, to duty, to the idea of, if it still works, why waste it? But in the energetic world of money, everything you hold on to must be alive. If you're keeping it only to fill space, you're blocking the space that was meant for new abundance. Old wallets may have carried you through difficult times. Torn handbags may still carry the energetic residue of worry and struggle. And when you leave money, even a few coins, inside them, you're tying the present to a past that should have already been closed. Not because you meant to, but because you haven't yet become aware that money, too, carries memory. So, open your closet. Check every wallet, every bag. If there's money inside, gently take it out, wipe it clean, and say thank you. If the container is old, broken, or torn, let it go. Not because it no longer has meaning, but because you are making space for new value to enter. Don't let money get trapped in memory. It doesn't grow in Goulet, but needs to be present in the now. And when you give it a clear, well-lit space, you're also telling yourself, I no longer live in the past, I am worthy of a fuller, more abundant reality. Money doesn't just walk away when it's forgotten. It can also retreat when it's buried under pressure. Some people don't throw away their wallets. They don't hide money under mattresses. But they still make a common mistake. They mix money with debt. Their money drawer is also the same place where they keep unpaid bills, overdue notices, and bank warnings. Many people think storing money with bills is no big deal. They assume it's convenient, easy to keep track of everything in one place. But energetically, this is a serious karmic misstep. Because when you place money next to debt, you strip it of its essence of abundance and turn it into a symbol of burden, coping, and survival. In astrology, this is the intersection between the second house and the eighth house, between personal assets and financial obligations. And when these two opposing energies are mixed, the vibration that results is deeply conflicted. One side wants to keep, the other has to pay. One says, I can. The other says, I'm not enough. And the result? Your financial flow is stuck in limbo, never able to fully grow. If you're a fire or water sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Cancer, Pisces, you may fall into this habit in two different ways. Fire signs act quickly and toss things wherever it's convenient. Water signs think, the money should stay near what needs fixing to remind me. But both forget one thing. Money can't bloom when surrounded by anxiety and pressure. Every time you open that drawer and see the bills, the debts, the payment notices, even if you don't say anything aloud, your subconscious is triggered into defense mode. You stop seeing money as expansion. You only see responsibility, the weight. And over time, money stops being something you appreciate and becomes just a tool for escaping trouble. Worse still, this behavior creates a mental pattern. Money comes to pay debt. And when the subconscious believes this, it recreates the same circumstance. Money comes, a payment is due. A payment is due, you need money. On and on it goes. A loop with no end. The solution is simple, but incredibly powerful. Separate money from financial paperwork. Give your bills their own space, a folder, an envelope, or even a drawer. And your money, store it somewhere. Clean, clear, and free of any burden energy. Let it be surrounded only by abundance, only by gratitude. You can even place a small note in your money space that says, I am financially free. Money comes to me with joy, not fear. Because gratitude is the strongest conductor for calling in prosperity. And when money is tangled up with obligation, you forget how much you actually have and only see what's missing. And the universe, like a mirror, reflects exactly that. Money doesn't just retreat under the weight of pressure. It can also quietly slip away when it's being taken for granted. And there's one particularly common way this happens: through carelessness. You don't mean to throw money away, but you also don't really pay attention to where it is, especially in one place where almost everyone casually leaves a few coins: the car. Have you ever quickly shoved some loose bills into the glove compartment? Or let a few coins roll under the seats, get stuck between cushions, or hide in the crevice of the center console? Maybe you thought, it's convenient, I'll use it if I need it. But that small habit is actually a form of energetic leakage that drains your finances more than you realize. In astrology, this reflects the leaking energy between the third house and the second house. When movement, commuting, and haste, third house, override the space of personal value, second house. The car is a place of movement, a space where you sit through traffic, hear stressful news, take calls, argue, feel drained, or just rush from one place to another. All of that energy, restlessness, pressure, speed, soaks into the atmosphere inside the car. When you leave money there, especially without intention, you immerse it in that exact vibration. Money no longer holds the essence of abundance. It becomes background noise, a thing disposable, something you'll use if needed but otherwise forgotten. If you're a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you're especially prone to this habit. You're active, on the move, not too focused on small details. But that's exactly what causes your money to fly out without anchoring into anything meaningful. It has no true home, no sense of respect. And if your Venus falls in the third house or is impacted by a square to Mars, you need to be even more careful. Because you may tend to scatter your financial energy outward into impulsive actions, reactions, or rush decisions made without intention. Money left in your car is usually forgotten. You don't engage with it. You don't see it daily. You don't care for it. And the universe doesn't need you to throw money away to call it neglect. Indifference alone, the vibration of not caring, is powerful enough to push money out of your life. The solution isn't never keep a single coin in the car. It's about doing it with intention. Use a small, clean container with a lid. Add a small note that says, "I honor the presence of money, even if it's just one coin." Money doesn't need to be large to feel valued. It only needs your attitude. And the universe is the same. When you treat even the smallest amount with respect and kindness, you create a channel for greater flows of money to come in, steadier, more meaningful, and long-lasting. Sometimes money isn't thrown away. It's not neglected. It's not soaked in anxiety, but it ends up being suppressed, unconsciously, quietly. And that's one of the most dangerous forms of energetic blockage in your financial life. It doesn't make noise. Being engaged is not obvious, but it's strong enough to suffocate your abundance from within. Have you ever tucked money into the bottom of a drawer and stacked books on top? Or slipped an envelope of cash into a box, then buried it under a pile of old clothes you no longer wear? You might think, "I'm just hiding it well for safety." But energetically, what you're actually doing is suppressing your own prosperity. Money by nature is living energy. It flows, it moves, it breathes. When you place it under heavy objects, you're sending a very clear message to the universe. I have no space for abundance. And the universe, like a neutral mirror, reflects exactly what you transmit. In astrology, this falls under the domain of Pluto, the planet of burial and rebirth, and the 8th house, which rules what's hidden, repressed, or clung to. If Pluto is strong in your natal chart, or if your 8th house is activated by Saturn, you're more likely to carry this pattern. You hide, you lock away, but at the same time, you cut off the flow. Especially if you're an inward-facing, control-oriented sign like Virgo, Capricorn, or Scorpio, you're even more prone to this. Not because you don't value money, but because you fear loss. You fear being seen. You fear not having enough. But that very fear drives you to do the opposite of what wealth needs. You squeeze your financial energy into corners where it can't breathe. Many people have stumbled upon forgotten money, found years later beneath stacks of old papers, inside boxes from homes never fully unpacked. And strangely, it brings no joy, because that money doesn't carry the energy of expansion. It carries memories. Heavy, stagnant, outdated, like a fragment of the past that never fully healed, now barely catching the light. The solution is simple. Let money live. Let it be seen. Let it breathe. Don't bury it. Don't stack things on top of it. Don't trap it in darkness. Move it into its own space, with light, with a pleasant scent, with just enough room for you to reconnect. Even if just for a few seconds each week, place your hand over that space. Take a deep breath and say, "I no longer suppress my abundance. I allow money to be present and grow in the light." One small act, but if done with presence and intention, it can open the door to an entirely new stream of financial energy, steady, clear, and truly free. We've just gone through 7 places in your home that may be silently draining your financial energy. Not because you don't appreciate money, but because you may have never realized the way you keep your money is the same way you broadcast your financial frequency to the universe. And the best part is, you can start shifting that energy today with just one small action. Reorganize a drawer, open an old wallet, or simply become aware of the habits that are ready to be healed. Because true prosperity doesn't begin with a number in your bank account. It begins with how you treat even the smallest amount of money you already have. So, which of the 7 habits are you currently practicing? Where have you stored your money before? In a messy drawer? A torn wallet? Alongside unpaid bills? Share your habit in the comments below, because the moment you dare to name what no longer serves you, It is the moment you make space for something new to flow in. And don't forget, in the next video, we'll explore 3 golden spots to nurture your financial energy, places that can turn even a small bill into a powerful invitation for the universe to send you more. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the journey of healing your relationship with money. Wishing you a path of true abundance, both within and in your reality.